Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting of the Brick Township Council to order. Madam Clerk?
Adequate notice of this meeting was provided and published in the Asbury Park Press and the Ocean Star on February 8, 2019. Copies of the agenda were provided to the newspaper, posted on public bulletin boards and the Township website.
Thank you. At this time, I'd ask everyone to please silence or turn off their cell phones, and Madam Clerk, if you'd send the basket around for the council cell phones, please. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilman Fosman.
Here.
Councilwoman Pontorero.
Here.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Here.
Councilman Momolo.
Here.
Councilman Halloran.
Here.
Vice President Crate.
Here.
President Zapsik.
Here.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this week we lost two outstanding citizens whose decades-long service to Brick Township has left an indelible mark on our community. Fred Underwood was an educator with the Brick Township School District for 27 years, where he touched the lives of thousands of young people and retired as a vice principal. Fred went on to serve 2 terms on the Brick Township Council. And Carol Wolf, who was a fierce advocate for victims of domestic violence. Carol founded Dottie's House in 1999, one of the first of its kind, a long-term shelter for women fleeing abusive relationships where they can live in safety with their children while rebuilding their lives. Through her tireless advocacy, she became the voice for those who did not dare to speak for themselves. Carol's also the wife of New Jersey Assemblyman David Wolf. I would ask that everyone hold Fred, Carol, and their families in your heart tonight as we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Consent agenda, Madam Clerk.
All matters listed under item consent agenda will be enacted in one motion, but in the form listed below. If discussion is desired on any item, this item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately.
Thank you. Resolution 4-1, please.
Recognize Brick Garden Club 20th anniversary.
Thank you. This resolution recognizes the Brick Garden Club's 20th anniversary of enhancing Brick Township through beautification projects and educating our residents about gardening. The club has grown from 62 members to 116 and is open to anyone who is interested in gardening. The club's highlights include the garden tour and tea hosted every July, which maps out gardens in town that are open to visitors and culminates with music and refreshments at the Cultural Arts Center, named for the club's founder, Bob Anstett. On September 9th, the Brick Garden Club members and guests will be celebrating their 20th anniversary at a reception at the Herbertsville Firehouse. Resolution 4-2.
Authorize acceptance of 2018 audit.
Thank you. Councilman Halloran, please.
Thank you. This resolution accepts the 2018 audit. There were no corrective actions or findings in this year's audit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Resolution 4-3.
Authorize insertion of Chapter 159, Office of Emergency Management Grant 2019.
Thank you. Councilman Momolo, please.
Thank you, Madam President. This resolution authorizes the insertion of $6,141.60 grant from the State of New Jersey Department of Law, Public Safety for the FY18 Office of Emergency Management Grant, which is used specifically towards the salary of our Deputy Emergency Management Coordinator.
Thank you. Resolution 4-4, please.
Authorize receipt of bids, demolition, and secure property at 130 Woodland Drive.
Thank you. Mrs. Bergen?
This resolution authorizes the receipt of bids for demolition and to secure the property at 130 Woodland Drive as per a recommendation from the Township's Property Maintenance Board.
Thank you. Resolution 4-5.
Authorize award of bid roadway improvements to Brower Drive.
Thank you. Mayor?
Thank you. This resolution authorizes the award of bid for the roadway improvements to Brower Drive to MECO Incorporated in the amount of $239,984.25. The project consists of resurfacing of Brower Drive, Bid notices went out to 66 prospective bidders from our bidders list. 12 of them requested bid packages. Out of those 12, 8 bid on it, and the prices range from the low bid of the $239,984.25, which is being asked to be awarded, all the way up to $406,832.25.
Thank you. Resolution 46, please.
Authorize award of bid roadway improvements to isolated roads.
Thank you. Mayor?
Yes, this is our isolated road project, which we started a couple years ago, because what was happening is there would be a neighborhood that the roads were in good shape, but there would be one, for whatever reason, be it traffic or maybe trucks for some reason, one would be really, in bad shape, and always the answer to those neighborhoods were, well, the rest of the neighborhood looks good, so you're going to have to wait. So we decided to do this isolated road project as a ongoing thing, and it really works well because these roads just wouldn't be paved for probably 10, 15 years, and their life is already gone. So we've started it. We've done it a couple different places around town. This is our next phases of it, and this resolution asked for this to be awarded. Again, it's to MECO Incorporated in the amount of $718,520, and it consists of pavement, sidewalk, drainage improvements, as well as curb ramp upgrades and other associated work on various roads throughout the township. And in this particular case, it's specifically Baywood Boulevard, Sudbury Road, West Granada Drive, Van Note Drive, and North Drive. And the bid packages went out to 65 prospective bidders from the bidders list. And out of those, 9 asked for the bid packages. And out of those 9, 6 different companies bid on it. And the ranges went from the $718,520, which is asking to be awarded, all the way up to $1,026,000.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Resolution 47, please.
Authorize award of bid computer and printer supplies.
Thank you. Councilwoman Dion?
Yes, thank you. This resolution authorizes the award of bid for computer and printer supplies to the following vendors in accordance with the schedule of prices: B&H Photo and Electronics Corp., New York, New York; Beyond Technology, Centennial, Colorado; CT's Office Supplies, Toms River, New Jersey; MRA International, Inc., Long Branch, New Jersey; Office Needs, Inc., Clark, New Jersey; Star Data Company, Hewlett, New York; and the Treehouse, Norwood, Massachusetts. This is a unit price with funds certified prior to each order with a total amount not to exceed $50,000. This is a one-year contract commencing August 28, 2019 and ending August 27, 2020. Bid notices were provided to 48 prospective bidders, 20 bidders picked up bid packages, and 9 bids were received. 2 bids had fatal flaws and were rejected. The remaining 7 are compliant and are being awarded based on low prices in each category.
Thank you. Resolution 48.
Authorize award of proposals sale of mulch.
Thank you. Council Vice President Crate.
Thank you. This resolution authorizes the sale of screened and unscreened mulch to Advanced Soil Technologies, brick, at a price of $5 per cubic yard for screened mulch and $1 per cubic yard for unscreened mulch. The township anticipates having approximately 3,000 cubic yards of screened mulch and 3,000 cubic yards of unscreened mulch at the Department of Public Works. The mulch is mostly leaf byproducts from trees within the township acquired from homeowners or removed by township employees from parks and other properties. The mulch is used by the township in various parks and recreation areas, as well as landscaping around township-owned buildings. It is suitable for landscaping and is offered free of charge to the residents of the township. However, the existing stockpile of screened and unscreened mulch now exceeds the needs of the township and its residents, and thus is being offered to commercial businesses. The quote request was sent to 19 prospective vendors, of which 2 submitted a formal proposal. Advanced Soil Technologies was the highest of the 2 quotes. In 2018, the township sold 2,924 cubic yards of unscreened mulch at a cost of 58 cents per cubic yard for a total of $1,695.92. The township did not sell any screened mulch.
Thank you. Resolution 49.
Authorize change order number 1, final roadway improvements to Heritage Hill project.
Thank you. Councilman Mumolo, please.
Thank you. This resolution authorizes a final change order in the roadway improvements to Heritage Hill project awarded to MECO, Inc. Closeout change order resulted in a decrease in the project cost from the original bid amount of $458,667 to a final adjusted total of $432,868.08 for a reduction of $26,098.92. Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution 410.
Authorize change order number 1 final Holly Hill Cove roadway resurfacing project.
Thank you. Councilman Halloran, please.
Thank you. This resolution authorizes a change order in the roadway improvements to Holly Hill Cove roadway resurfacing project awarded to Earl Asphalt. The contract results in a net reduction in the amount of $87,714.16, reducing the job by 18%. Certain drainage pay items were not needed, thus resulting in a reduction. Thank you.
Resolution 411.
Support of electric vehicles.
Thank you. Council Vice President Crate.
Thank you. This resolution supports increased use of electric vehicles and needed infrastructure in order to reduce global warming and improve air quality in the municipality, state, and nationally. The widespread adoption of electric vehicles will bring significant economic benefit, including lower electricity rates, by recreating a more resilient and responsive electric grid and reduced vehicle operating costs and substantial emission reductions that result in cleaner air for everyone. This resolution was reviewed and is supported by the Township's Land Use Committee and as well as the Sustainable Brick Committee.
Thank you. Resolution 412.
Authorize placement of tax liens for property cleanups.
Thank you. This resolution authorizes the placement of tax liens at 49 Bay Way in the amount of $81.21, 134 Coolidge Drive in the amount of $168.77, and 520 Nebraska Avenue in the amount of $145.50. I have the reports from code enforcement. All 3 of these properties are vacant. 1 is bank-owned, and the other 2, the owners are deceased. Resolution 413.
Authorize special events permit Brick Plaza sidewalk sale.
Thank you. Councilwoman DeYoung, please.
Thank you. This resolution authorizes a special events permit for Federal Realty Investment Trust to conduct a shopping center-wide sidewalk sale at Brick Plaza on Cedar Bridge Avenue on September 7th between the hours of 8 a.m. and 4 p.m.
Thank you. Resolution 414.
Authorize special events permit Arcuri for Suds fundraiser.
Thank you. Councilman Mumalo, please.
Thank you. This resolution authorizes special events permit to conduct an activity for SUDS, which is Soldiers Undertaking Disabled Scuba Diving. Fundraiser event will be on September 7th at Whirlin Brothers Marina, Princeton Avenue, between the hours of 1 p.m. and 10 p.m.
Thank you. Resolution 415.
Authorize special events permit Avery's Carnival.
Thank you. Councilwoman Ponterero.
Thank you so much, Madam President. This resolution authorizes a special events permit for the 12th annual Avery Carnival on September the 28th, and that's at the Powell Building on Drum Point Road between 1 and 5. There is a rain date scheduled for September the 29th. This event honors our 4-year-old resident, Avery Judith, who passed away from childhood cancer. The Dance to Inspire Foundation is the organization holding this carnival in her memory. It benefits the Children's Philadelphia Child Cancer Hospital, and so far they've been able to get an entire exam room named after Avery from these contributions from the carnival. So everyone should go out and support her.
Thank you. Resolution 416.
Authorize special events permit Battle Scars Cars, Truck, and Motorcycle Show.
Thank you. Councilwoman Ponterero.
Thank you again, Madam President. This resolution authorizes another special events permit, and this one is for the Battle Scars Car, Truck, and Motorcycle Show on October 12th, and that's at Brick Beach 3 between 9 and 5. It's being hosted by the Friends of Greg Rinaldi. He's one of our residents who's battling cancer at this point in time. The hope is that this will become an annual event and that in future years they will donate the proceeds to St. Jude's Cancer Hospital. Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution 417, bond releases and reductions.
417A is a performance bond release for Meridian Hospital Corp. on Jack Martin Boulevard, a surety bond in the amount of $90,164.52. and the cash performance bond in the amount of $10,018.29. 417B is an inspection fund release for Clark General Contracting on Brick Boulevard in the amount of $1,010.63. 417C is an inspection fund release for the Brick Office Park on Route 70 in the amount of $1,673.64. 417D is an inspection fund release for the Greenbrier Association on Darley Circle in the amount of $792.17.
Thank you. Resolution 418, tax collector, Mrs. Bergen.
Thank you. 18A, tax overpayments for the year 2018, Block 1386, Lot 18, in the amount of $1,357.47. 18B are tax overpayments for the year 2019, Block 1429, Lot 1, in the amount of $902.34. 18C, redemption of tax sale certificate, Block 207.26, Lot 31. 18D is to cancel unclaimed credits for the years 2008 through 2012. 18E is to cancel unclaimed redemption monies totaling $6,789.76, and 18F is to cancel tax balances and credits for $10 and under.
Thank you. All right, that ends the consent agenda. May I have a motion and a second?
Second.
Motion by Councilman Mullo, second by Councilman Halloran. Open to council for questions or comments.
I have a couple comments. I'd just like to say that the Garden Club, I remember back probably about 3 or 4 years ago, when the Garden Club has that spot right between Hooper Avenue and Route 70. They have the area there. And when I was a commissioner on the Water Authority, I spearheaded to get an outside faucet put in there. Working with, we had Republicans and Democrats there, and we passed it with Jim Lacey, and with his help, we got an outside faucet put in there, so they don't have to run a hose from the tile place over the road to water that there. And I was very happy, and they're very happy that that happened, so that it's a little safer for them over there. And support of electric vehicles, for years I've been saying this. A couple of years ago, I brought that out, and a gentleman came to the podium probably this year, and he said there's a free grant for electric vehicles if you fill out the grant. I don't know if the township filled that out yet. The use of these cell phones, we used to get like a laptop from 2012, and if you can't use a cell phone, it's like your laptop. It's awful ridiculous here to get information. So I guess I can bring a laptop in, I guess. Is that okay? Is that illegal here? Or laptop's okay? I can bring a township laptop in now? You know, it's kind of ridiculous. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Anyone else from council? Seeing none, close council. Open to public for comments on the resolutions. Yes, sir. Please come to the podium, please.
Good evening, Council. My name is Michael Moss. I'm a representative of ACT Property. We are the new owners of 130 Woodland Drive in Brick Township. We acquired the property by way of tax sale certificate on June 17th of this year, and we would ask for consideration for you not to demolish the property, as we intend to rehab the property and put it back together.
Mrs. Bergen.
I'd like to recommend, if I may, to the council that they continue with the action on the agenda. There will be several more opportunities for the property owner to be heard, including when we authorize the demolition via, once we receive bids. Until then, the company can actually take action and notify our construction official of their intent with a timeline and have some deliverables to meet, at which point in time the council will have some action before them that may justify not awarding a contract at that time. But my recommendation is that you proceed as is. This has been a long time coming, many years before the Property Maintenance Board.
Council President, I would join in that, and I would say we'd much prefer to have you do it, but this is a step in the process, and I think we should keep the process moving just so we do come to an end.
To be fair, I absolutely understand, though I do want you to have consideration that our possession of the property just became effective on June 17th. So I understand the property's been vacant probably back to Sandy, okay? So it's a long time. It is our intention to work with the town to put the house back to condition of habitability in the appropriate way, not to cut corners, to pull all permits, to do what needs to be done in order to do it. I'm just asking for the consideration, and if demolition is the fact, then we'll take care of that action to be done.
My recommendation is you contact Dan Newman, our construction official, tomorrow.
Yes.
And you can talk with him about your timeline and deliverables, and like I said, there will be another opportunity for this council to decide if they proceed.
Thank you.
Are
Thank you,
you
Town
with-
Council.
Are you with ACT Engineering?
I'm not. The
Okay.
name of our company is Act Lean. We own several
Okay.
holding companies. Act Property is the company that owns the property at 130 Woodland Drive.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Stacy Collins. I'm at 7 Buena Vista Drive, and I'm actually a neighbor of 130 Woodland. If I could just show you pictures, if you don't mind me coming up, I can understand what the gentleman's saying. This is actually, has something that we've been living with for 7 years. The weeds are feet high, the glass to the window is broken in. Clearly, there have been vandals in the house. It's all boarded up. It hasn't been maintained. It wasn't until I reached out to Brunson in July, and I reached out to the mayor, and I put everyone on the council on it. It wasn't until then that the property was then landscaped, because the weeds were so high that it was covering an actual guardrail that was in the road. It was feet high. So if I may come up, I just want to show you a picture of my house and the house that's next to it.
Absolutely.
This is my home. This is the home we've been subjected to for the last 7 years. Our community has worked so hard to rebuild after Sandy.
Thank you.
So on behalf of the neighbors, I would ask that the process not be slowed down. It's been 7 years. Our neighborhood has fought to rebuild, and we have to now live next to this. It's an attraction for people to vandalize the home. We have a beach that's literally within walking distance. So we have young kids on their bicycle that are now going past this. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from public on the resolutions? Seeing none, close public. Roll call, please.
Councilman Fosman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilman Mamalo.
Yes.
Councilman Halloran.
Yes.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
President Zapsik.
Yes.
Thank you.
Alrighty, 419, bill resolution.
Be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Brick that the following bills be paid and that the mayor and clerk be and are hereby authorized to draw orders on the treasurer for the amounts of the same. Computer bill resolution in the amount of $656,538.09.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second.
Motion?
Second. Motion by Councilman Mumlo, second by Council Vice President Crate. Open to council for comments on the bill resolution.
I have two.
Yes, Councilman Fosman.
Page 1, ACT Engineering. It says dredging management plan and hydrographic survey. And I noticed the ordinance is from 2011. Is that where the payment's coming from, both of them? It says 2611 dredging, ordinance 26-11.
That's correct.
Sorry, my fault. Yes, I understand. That dredging management plan, where was that done? Do you know?
They completed it in several locations throughout Brick Township, and they really have just started. They've just done some of the hydro surveying. They're at the very beginning of this project. They've only spent about $9,000 to date, so they were just out last week with the dredge boat.
All right, thank you. Thank you. And also, page 18 is, it's just Hunter, Jersey, Peterbilt parts. I noticed we're repairing the trucks and everything, and it just so happens that I happened to see a truck on Herbertsville Road, and I got the number of the truck. It was 447, and it seems like there was a brand-new bumper put on there, but the part that was smashed in on the fender wasn't repaired, but it looked like a new bumper was put on. Can you tell me if anything happened to that vehicle, or why wasn't it reported, or anything about
I'm
it?
certain that it was reported and processed accordingly, but not having had a chance to look into truck 447 and why it has a new bumper, I can't answer at this time.
All right. I'm just curious, because I'm saying, why would somebody put a new bumper on without repairing the rest of the truck? I was just curious. Thank you.
Anyone else from council on the bill resolution? Seeing none, close council. Open to public for questions on the bill resolutions. Seeing none, close public. Roll call, please.
Councilman Fosman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Abstain CME, yes to the rest.
Councilman Mummolo.
Yes.
Councilman Halloran.
Yes.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
President Zapsik.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, item 420, bill resolution manual.
Be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Brick that the following bills be paid and that the mayor and clerk be and are hereby authorized to draw orders on the treasurer for the amounts of the same. Manual bill resolution in the amount of $1,828,056.37.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second.
Motion.
Second. Motion by Councilman Mummolo, second by Council Vice President Crate. Open to council for questions on the manual bill resolution. Seeing none, close council. Open to public for questions on the manual bill resolution. Seeing none, close public. Roll call, please.
Councilman Fosman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Abstain CME, yes to the rest.
Councilman Mummolo.
Yes.
Councilman Halloran.
Yes.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
President Zapsik.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. We are now on to public comment.
Excuse me,
Madam-
Council President, Mr. Fallon came in late for any reports out. I have a few questions, but I noticed he came in late to the meeting. Could I still ask him some questions on this? On his, the authorized, I know we already authorized it, but it's okay, we already voted on it, but can I ask him some questions? Is that be okay?
Certainly.
On the audit?
Certainly.
Mr., you don't mind answering a few questions, sir? I know we already passed it, but I'm just curious.
Mr. Fallon, would you go to the podium?
Do you need
Yeah.
to sit?
Thank you.
Just,
I apologize for being late.
that's all right. You know, I know you worked on the Water Authority. I trust your work. I know how it is, but I just have a few questions. You don't mind, do you?
Not at all.
Okay, it says corrected and uncorrected misstatements. Can you please explain to me any the corrected misstatements here? It's on, this is your sheet that you sent in?
Oh, okay.
I looked in the back, and
Yeah, that is a letter to governance. It's a standard letter. We don't have any corrected or uncorrected misstatements in the audit report.
okay, in the back on page 141, it says here, corrective action has been taken. What corrective action was taken?
Prior year, we did have a comment.
Just so everybody's aware, this is 2018's audit.
Right, but in 2017, we had one comment, and there was corrective action taken
That's
on
what
that.
that's for, 17.
Correct.
Okay.
This year, there were no comments.
And while reserve, it said on the same page, it says, while reserve accounts were set up in the grant fund for several grants that were related to ordinances in the capital fund, the charges against the appropriated reserves were not being accounted for in the grant fund. Which grants were
Okay,
they?
what page was that?
141. That's the condition on the top.
Mr. Fallon, that's the corrective action from 2017. That's the finding from 2017.
Yeah, I don't recall what grants they were from 17, but you do have one grant that runs through the trust fund, and it wasn't getting properly posted to the general ledger.
Okay. That's all I have. Oh, wait, what's on this page? I got something written down here, hold on. Management consultants and other independent accounts. That's, I guess it's for Joanne. Were any other consultants made any other accounts here? It says here that in some cases, managers may decide to consult with other accountants. Did we consult with any other accountant?
No, there was no consultant. You did not have to hire other accountants other than myself.
So, okay.
Correct.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
And thank you, Council President, for letting me get that out.
You're welcome.
All right, and if there's any other questions, I'm always available by phone if you'd like to call.
Thank you, Mr. Fallon.
Thank
Okay. Now we're on to public comment. Madam Clerk.
Please note that each person addressing the council during any section of the meeting during which public comment is permitted shall limit his or her remarks to 5 minutes pursuant to Brick Township Administrative Code, Section 2-33B.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
My name is Bob Carpenteris. I realize that the resolution was passed at the last meeting about the sanctuary cities. And I want to ask the mayor, what did you mean when you say you can sleep better at night?
Yeah, so the directive came down where, so somebody gets arrested here in Brick Township, and if they get brought to the Ocean County Jail, which is in Toms River, and if they are undocumented, they're from Russia, Mexico, wherever, they're here illegally. It used to be that the ICE officer was right in the Ocean County Jail, and the ICE officer would just simply walk down the hall, interview the person, do whatever ICE officers do. And now, the ICE officer cannot be in the building. They're actually down at Cherry Hill. They have to drive all the way from Cherry Hill to Toms River if they find them on the internet, because the other thing that's not allowed is the corrections officers down at the jail cannot simply pick up the phone and say, yeah, we have somebody here, they're arrested on X, they're here in the jail, if you want to come down and question them, to at least let them know. So now what the ICE officers are, they're in Cherry Hill, they're looking on the internet at the same information that you or I can, and trying to determine who's undocumented, who's illegal, who's not illegal, and then have to drive from Cherry Hill all the way to Toms River in order to question. And we have bail reform now, where most people, most criminals are now released on summonses, that they may not be out there. They may not be able to get there before a criminal gets released, and that's why.
Okay, so you mean that you feel safer? Is that what you meant?
I would feel safer if the ICE officer can go directly into, be present in our jail and be able to have direct access to these people who are arrested and charged criminally. Yes, okay. I would definitely feel safer.
I just want to point out that the illegals are much less crime-prone than regular people. Also, another thing
not the ones that are in the jail. The ones that are in the jail are probably higher. That's why they're in jail.
We're talking about percentages.
I'm talking about percentages of people who are in jail who are actually criminals? That's what you're talking about? I think that's very, very high number.
No, I'm talking about the percentage of the whole population.
Oh, okay, that's a different issue.
Right, illegals are not as crime-prone as Americans. Now, I mean, that's FBI statistics. Anyone can look at them. Now, another thing that I want to point out is that these countries, for instance, Central America, where Trump is so worried that we're being invaded, I'm not Central America, I'm Greek and Italian, so, but it's just so strange that people don't know the history of those areas. These countries were taking advantage. Now, Teddy Roosevelt said, what's patriotic is the truth. And this is the truth. These countries were taken advantage of by United Fruit Company. They were made to grow bananas, so we can have our Chiquita bananas. And they took their land, and they were paying them pittance. So in 1944, they became a democratic nation, and they were democratic for 10 years, and then America and the United Fruit Company didn't want to keep them democratic because they were asking for a raise in their pay. So they asked America to take part and overthrow the democratic elected government, and that created massacres. And so we had our bananas here, but these people were suffering. So this is the reason these people are coming here. It's not because there's plenty of work. I mean, they cut the chicken, they work in the chicken killing places, whatever you call them. And that's how we eat our chicken, from them. So, making them look like criminals is not right. I just don't think it's... now, they work at all the slaughterhouses. Who's from here, who wants to work at a slaughterhouse for $9 an hour, where you cut a chicken's throat, and it throws feces on you, and it throws blood on you? I wouldn't do it. Now, if you don't eat meat, vegetables, who picks up the vegetables? These people do. They come here to work hard, and we need them. The economy needs them. Stephen Miller said, okay, I guess I'm done, right? Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Foster?
Sam Foster, Chico Drive in Brick. I did come here tonight to speak about two other issues, but I want to address the issue the last man spoke, and I do agree with him on some points here. First of all, he's right that there are a lot of illegal aliens do come in here to do jobs that we don't want to do. My grandfather lived through World War II when there was food rationing and the Great Depression, and he did things that no one today would do. He shoveled manure out of a barn for a few dollars a day, less money. He made less money in one day than minimum wages now. And he stood ankle and knee deep in manure, but we had a different work value back in those days, and we didn't have as many legal immigrants. But I do want to address one thing the mayor said, and I get my notes here. I was making notes when I was talking. I'll make this quick because I had other issues also which I originally came here, but I'll just pick up it another day if my time runs out. There's a comment made about the people in jail. Mayor Ducey made a comment about the people in jail. All the speakers said that illegal immigrants are less prone to crime, and he's right. There are statistics from the Justice Department that say that. And he's also right about the immigrants doing jobs that Americans don't want to do, because there are fruit pickers and big farms nowadays, they're all conglomerates, that did contact their legislatures in California and other states that border the southern border, saying it's going to hurt us because we're going to have fruit that's going to rot in the fields. And yeah, my grandfather, back in the Great Depression, he picked fruit. And so I just want to say that Mayor Ducey is wrong to make a comment about the people in jail, or I forgot exactly the term that you used, Mayor, but it was flat out wrong when you said people in jail being crime prone, because, well, Mayor, that's what you said. I'm paraphrasing because I was trying to write at the same time I'll listen to you. Because, am I correct? That is what you said, words to that effect, correct?
There's a high percentage of criminals in jail, yes. That's what I said.
Well, that's not what you said. You said that if the fact that they're in jail means that they're, is that pretty much what you said?
High percentage of criminals in jail, yes. That's
not the way I heard it, but I'd just like to remind you that simply because someone is arrested and in jail does not mean that they are guilty of anything.
No, but there's a higher percentage in there.
No, see, you're floating things here, but this is a sensitive issue, because I'd like to remind you about my case. I was arrested twice by the Brick Police back in 2004, and Judge Peterson ruled that both of the arrests by the Brick Police were false arrests. And when I went into court, Judge Peterson ruled that I did nothing wrong. I obeyed the law, and it was the Brick Police that violated the law. Now, that's why this is a sensitive issue to me, because I don't see people in this town taking things seriously about, your attitude seems to be guilt by accusation, and there's no such thing in this country. In this country, and I've said this on Facebook many times, everyone is innocent unless they're proven guilty, and I would think that, I would just say that your comment is, you should reevaluate what you said, because I can tell you that there are a lot of people in jail that are falsely accused. I mean, again, you can go to the Labor Department of Justice figures and the U.S. prison system, and they can tell you, there are people in prison right now that have been convicted that have been exonerated through DNA evidence and witnesses' testimony. But I'm going to leave that at that, because I had two other issues I want to address. I saw the council meeting, and we can discuss this after the meeting, or in court, wherever you want to. But I have a question here about, to the council president. I saw a council meeting on YouTube, I think it was the last one, and the question I'm going to ask very simply is, why was it that when I attended the last council meeting and spoke, Councilwoman DeYoung interrupted me repeatedly, and you did interrupt her? Now, the last council meeting, I saw Councilman Fosman during the public comments interrupt the speaker about the solar panel field. And what I heard when he did that was the council president slamming down the gavel like that repeatedly when Councilman Fosman interrupted a speaker at the microphone. Granted, he shouldn't have interrupted the speaker, but I would like to see more happen during these meetings is some fairness. And not just more fairness, but fairness, because we're not having that. We need to have policies and people's legal rights respected by everybody, and everybody should be treated the same in here, and it's not happening, and I feel that this is something that you people have to get together, and you have to get your act together about. If you're going to interrupt Councilman Fosman or anybody else because, for whatever reason, whether you like them or not, then when I was standing here and Heather DeYoung is interrupting me, you should gavel her client, and you don't, and this has been going on for years. It happened when she was the council president last year, and we had people sitting right over there, a former Brick police officer and his family and friends heckling people, and Councilwoman DeYoung did nothing to stop that. And this is, I had something else, but I'm going to bring it up at the next council meeting, or I'll send you one email. And that's it. But again, Mayor, I take offense to that, because this is so about your comments, because like I said, this is something that is very important to me, not just because of what happened to me, because I'm studying law, I'm studying to be paralegal, and I know that what this attitude or this belief somehow, and I've heard this from the Brick Police also. Years ago, I spoke with Internal Affairs Lieutenant Lang, who's now a deputy chief, and I told him, what are you talking about? He says, I was allegedly, he interrupted me when I said I went into court already, and I was, Judge Pearson ruled that I was falsely arrested. He says, no, allegedly, because our policy is that you were not falsely arrested. And I said, what are you talking about? You got to have more respect for the legal system, and you have to be aware of the fact that your opinion takes a backseat to what courts rule. And like I said, this is a sensitive issue to me because of the criminal activity by the Brick Police in the past and ongoing, which I've written about on Facebook. I don't know if you saw my latest posting, but I just hope that you would reevaluate it, and I can talk to you after the meeting if you want to, because this is serious. The man is right. There are a lot of jobs out there that Americans will not do. They won't do it. They won't touch it with a 10-foot pole. They won't. They're not going to go out there and pick fruit for 10, 12 hours a day or shovel manure out of a stable in their near ankle deep like my grandfather did back in the Great Depression. We don't have the same work ethic as we did back then. And although I do believe that if you come to this country, you should go through the legal process system. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Truex, 404 Adamston Road. I just wanted to say good evening, council. I just wanted to start off by making sure everybody's on the same page in this room, because I understand there's a new lawsuit against the town by the applicants at 385 Adamston Road, the old Ocean First Bank. So I wanted to quick read the following permitted uses in an RR1 zone, the rural residential zone. A, customary and conventional farming operations. B, one-family dwellings. C, public and accredited private schools and institutions which may be conducted as a business. D, municipal parks, playgrounds, and other such municipally owned buildings and uses such deemed so by the Township Council of Brick. E, municipal buildings, volunteer first aid buildings and firehouses. And F, public libraries. As you can see, there is no commercial or industrial use for an RR1 zone, except with one exclusion, and it's clear that a public and accredited private school may be conducted as a business. It makes that clear. It doesn't say that a customary or conventional farming operation can be conducted as a business. So I would like just to point out the fact that I believe the intention of the RR1 zone was so that a resident in that, the owner of that property, could have farm animals, horses, or whatever, raise their own livestock, have a farm, barn in the backyard. It's not a commercial or industrial property. The applicants from 385, as you know, are suing the town because their marijuana, hemp, and lettuce farm did not gain approval from the zoning board or the planning board. They are seeking automatic approval because they're stating that the Township of Brick did not inform them in a timely manner that their application was deficient. But we were at the meetings. Were they not notified in person at the zoning board meeting, special hearing on definitions of the RR1 zone, that was attended by their attorney, Mr. Dennis Galvin, who argued for them and admitted they would in fact need a variance to operate any of those on that property. Is that a notice enough, a public notice to their attorney?
I'll take this because the council and the mayor know that I always advise them not to comment on pending litigation, but I'll tell you this, the zoning board, the planning board, and the township are on the same page as you are. We agree with you, and we are fighting that battle in court because they have brought this lawsuit against both the zoning board, the planning board, and the township, meaning the applicant has. If you ask me what I think of their position that there was automatic approval, I think it's close to absurd. I mean, they had a hearing before the zoning board.
They had multiple hearings.
But one in particular on the request they were making. But you're right, they had multiple hearings even before that. They chose to bring that issue up in court. That's their right to bring it up in court. We are going to vigorously fight against that, and I don't like to predict things, but I feel comfortable with our position.
It's, obviously, we have a vested interest in this because prior to this happening, we had hired an attorney on our own to fight their variance. They were looking for a variance to use the property as a business, which they would have needed and which they would still have needed. So a question that I have is, they're suing for something that they can't have on that property by zoning laws. The zone itself doesn't have a business application to it other than a private school or public school. And it has no industrial use, and they were looking to, have an industrial building for growing either marijuana, hemp, or lettuce, depending on which day of the week it is. So the other thing is, they can't legally have that business either because they don't have a state license to grow marijuana or hemp or, the lettuce obviously in our mind is a complete joke because their application is for a building that has a laboratory in it, and I can't imagine a rural farming operation with a laboratory to process lettuce. So I just want to make sure that the town is actively and proactively engaging them in bringing this forward to the resolution that would make sense.
So we're 100% on the same side. You make some very good points. I agree with them. The township does, and the zoning board does as well. Like I said, the applicant has filed this lawsuit in court. We will fight that in court, continue to defend our position, and as I said, I'm confident in our position and the zoning board's ruling on the matter.
Thank you. Thank you, Council.
Yes, sir.
Mike Dumas, 400 Adamston Road. I'm encouraged by what you just said. I can't come here and not say, though, how did we get here? I mean, we didn't send a letter to notify them, and now we're in court. Is that what they're claiming, is that they didn't get notification within the 45 days?
No, they filed their application in front of the planning board, and they said it was a permitted use. The planning board disagreed with that, but sent it to the zoning board for a determination on the law, whether it was a permitted use or not. The applicant had a hearing before the zoning board on that issue, and they lost. What they're saying is, as a technical matter, well, we filed our paperwork with the planning board should have done something. The simple response is the planning board did. The planning board took action. The action they took was to send it to the zoning board for a response. The zoning board held a public hearing with notice, with the applicant participating, with them getting up and speaking, and then rendered a decision. They got what any applicant is entitled to. To me, their lawsuit is sort of a backdoor way to say, well, we don't need to go before any board, we don't need any approval, we can just come in and do it. As I said before, we've done everything. We, planning board, the zoning board, have done everything in compliance with what we're required to do. It doesn't mean they can't file a lawsuit challenging what we've done, which is what they have done, but we are going to vigorously defend that lawsuit, and I firmly believe we are correct on this one.
Understood. I agree with you. I think that's one of the reasons I came here tonight, was just to hear that, because you can understand objectively why we would fear that this would result in a settlement, something that we didn't know about, whatever. There's a lot of people in town, not just the few of us that show up to these council meetings. You've seen as many as 300 without much organization show up for these things. So there's a whole team involved in this. So if it gets to the point, we just want to know that whatever's going to happen is going to be shared with the town, and that there's going to be a public process, unless it's what we completely agree on, is just, I'm a taxpayer in town. Fight it. If you have to spend $200,000 to avoid a $20,000 settlement, fight it. That's my position.
I can guarantee this, there's not going to be a sort of behind closed doors settlement.
Yeah.
The only way this proceeds, if the applicant chooses to do it, is before a board at a public hearing where comments and input from the public can be heard.
Okay. So then the only other question I have is it your position now that, because now there's more litigation, that the town can't act on this issue in any other way? Because what I've asked before, and it's been active, and there have been planning board and zoning board hearings and all these things that have been going on, and I understand that. But it seems as though there's been at least one, if not a couple of gaps in between when there was no action or no application before the town or no litigation at the time. And I just want to say to the council again, this is going to continue to happen. It's going to continue to happen at this property. It's going to continue to happen at dozens of other properties in town unless the ban is extended. And I've said before, don't shoot the messenger. Whatever your feelings are on the issue, if you don't ban it, it's a zoning issue in every piece of property that's even remotely open to a business like this. And we're just going to keep coming back and defending lawsuits and having hearings and getting the other building and special police and all that stuff like that. So I guess my question is, when can that happen? Is that now not able to happen until this is resolved, or?
I can tell you, changing zoning laws would not affect that application you're talking about. When the zoning laws that apply to a particular application are the ones that are in effect at the time of the filing of the application, so that if a town changes zoning laws after the application is filed, it doesn't affect that particular application.
So again, my only point to the larger council is that as a practical matter of doing business, if we don't deal with it, and unfortunately that may be the way that you have to deal with it, it's going to continue to recur. Because right now, this could happen again on Mantalocking Road, and it could happen again on Adamston Road, and it could happen on particularly any property that's zoned commercial, is my understanding. And as long as it's permitted in the town, then it's only one zoning adjustment away from any RR1 property, which is our largest zoning in the town. So, again, I'll close with this. I want to separate myself from the issue. This is a matter of doing business, and how do we move forward in the town and deal with more important issues, and not have 5 of these things going on at once. So, thank you.
Mr. Diaz.
Marcel Diaz, 28 Sharbor Drive. Last time I was here, I think it was around February, I had asked a question about the RR1 zone and was notified that Councilman Mumolo, I think you were in charge of a committee to redefine or clarify or do something with the RR1 zone. Did we get anything done with that?
You can talk on general zoning, not the applications pending.
No, what we've done is looked at, land use has looked at, I don't want to be real careful here. I don't want to say something, but we've looked at it, it's been brought to administration, hire consultants, so forth, to make sure we go the proper direction so that we don't end up in legal ramifications. It was brought up at the last land use meeting, so we're in process.
Right. And laws were written prior to all these new changes with medical and recreational marijuana and all that. So obviously, when the laws were written for R1 codes, that wasn't taken into consideration. So I'm sure that everything's starting to change with zoning laws. So
It's in the works.
it's in the works.
Being looked at by, we're looking at doing an outside firm to, this is so new in all these
Yeah.
towns. We don't know, we don't want to do something and then have it come back, kick back.
And redo it again.
So we're looking to go to another firm that's dealt in this type of situation and direct us to what proper.
Okay.
I personally don't know exactly what to do without ending up in some type of.
Now, is this something we're looking to get a resolution to this year, next year? Is there a time frame of when? Depends on the lawsuit?
Who we hire and how long it takes to have the study look, because they're going to have to look at the whole town.
Okay. All right. Trying to think. Yeah, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mr. Sluka?
Hi, John Sluka, 950 Sylvia Court. I'll read my letter dated August 21st. Dear Mayor Ducey, Council President Andy Zapsik, all councilmen and councilwomen, the Brick Township Mayor and Administration is conducting a noise study in order to finally try to get the New Jersey Turnpike Authority Commissioners to respond in a positive way to the plight of the residents on the north loop of Evergreen Woods. On any given day, the noise will at times meet the minimum requirements, and other days it will fail miserably. The study may confirm some of the noise problems that have been forced upon the residents over the last 7 years. A study may once again prove a point, but it will not mean that the commissioners will ever react or really care. The noise may be a large problem for the residents of Evergreen Woods, but the problem of the environmental destruction that causes lung and heart ailments among many of our residents will continue to plague Brick residents and Ocean County citizens. The health issues and true well-being will not be resolved by a study or a conclusion on the noise. Each and every one of the residents faces the toxins forced upon them by the New Jersey Turnpike Authority Commissioners and their powerful profiteering allies. The people that live in and around the destruction of the parkway know full well the health and environmental problems befalling the Brick residents. The New Jersey Turnpike Authority continues to ignore the pleas of the people for a fair and just settlement concerning the health and well-being of the residents from the many communities surrounding the Garden State Parkway. Proof of the impact of the Garden State Parkway widening and exiting projects becomes more and more visible each and every day. School starts in a few days, and the toxins will flow over Brick High School, Lanes Mill School, and other areas. What is needed in Evergreen Woods, Greenbrier, Brick High School, Birchwood Park, and many, many other areas of Brick Township is a combination of additional shrubbery and forestation, as well as that 14-foot pollution, noise, and safety wall to curtail some of the damage brought about by the illegal actions of the commissioners of the New Jersey Turnpike Authority. A large, overbearing bureaucracy such as the New Jersey Turnpike Authority will not listen to the needs of the people, and in fact, probably not to the local government officials, especially if those officials receive advice from lobbyists for unions, construction companies, and the well-endowed bureaucrats. We can look at Washington, D.C. to understand how ingrained bureaucrats believe they are more important than the citizens and their elected representatives. If the council can't act or even show concern, the citizens will have to fight on, and they will, and maybe someday they'll save some lives of some of the Brick residents. Although the mayor and his administration have come around to believing the residents very little seems to be been done over the last now 7 years, while the destruction of these lives continue as we know it. The time for action is now. The time for discourse is long overdue. The people have suffered. Some have developed COPD. Some have developed asthma. Some have developed heart ailments. And some have developed autism. And yes, of course, some have died waiting. Step up, speak out if you care. Thank you, John Sluka. I yield back 1:20.
Thank you. Anyone else from public? Seeing none, close public. Mrs. Bergen.
I have nothing further, thank you.
Mayor?
Thank you. Congratulations to our recreation staff, DPW, police, EMS, volunteer fire, and CERT team. We had an awesome Summerfest. It has now come to a close. It was our 25th edition of it. Next year is our 25th anniversary of Summerfest. We did have a couple of rain dates, but still everything was well attended, anywhere from 4,000 people up to the 16,000 or 17,000 we had on July 4th. Tomorrow is our last Traders Cove concert. It's DJ Chris Anthony and a tribute to Michael Jackson by Peter Carter. It starts at 7 o'clock down at Traders Cove Park, and that'll be it for our summer concerts. Had the opportunity to go to ribbon cutting yesterday, August 26th, for the DAV building. That's located on Lanes Mill Road across from the Tacoholics. In case you don't know where it is and you're a disabled veteran, it's an awesome clubhouse. They have a lot of activities going on. But why it was a ribbon cutting is because we were able to obtain a grant to help out the DAV. They had come to us a couple years ago asking for some help with a roof and HVAC system. And it ended up turning into a lot more than that because we got a number of grants for them, applied for grants for them. They now have an ADA-compliant sidewalk, ADA-compliant ramp, ADA access into their building, which is obviously all important because it's Disabled American Veterans, is DAV. They have the new roof, the new facade, new doors, and there was a lot of different staff that were involved, from our township planners to our engineers to our maintenance staff, our in-house construction people, and our electrician. They all came together to do such a great thing for our veterans who deserve so much. I did have the opportunity to attend the Special Olympics Awards ceremony on August 14th. And that's through our base program here in town, and the Epiphany Knights of Columbus donate medals for each of the kids. We put them around their neck for their participation in the Special Olympics throughout the week, and they actually supplied a pizza lunch for the kids and everything, so that was great. The Solidarity event of Faiths at Temple Beth Orr was on August 18th. It was a comedy event. There was a professional comedian there who was very, very funny. It was an overall great event. There was people from all different churches, temples, different other type. Every religion was there at the Solidarity event. Coming up this Friday is our senior dinner and a movie. It is starts at 4 o'clock, and it's A Star Is Born with Lady Gaga, so it's the new one. You just need to call Recreation for reservations, 732-262-1044. You get a Italian dinner, and then the movie starts. We did lose, Council President Zapsik talked at the beginning of the meeting. I just want to talk a little bit at the end. We lost two great people from Brick Township. Fred Underwood was a teacher, educator, administrator for Brick Schools, and was a great two-term councilman as well. He was really loved having that Brick Township Burgee. If anybody's interested in them, there's still a few of those available because he was so much into boating and definitely in love with the water, in love with Brick Township, and did great things for Brick Township. And then also we had lost, as Council President mentioned, Carol Wolf, and we have our deepest condolences for her as well. And she was a visionary as far as affordable housing, and also really took care of families that were impacted by domestic violence. Dottie's House, I'm sure everybody here in Brick's heard of it. People have heard of it all over New Jersey. They're going to go on serving countless families and will be part of Carol's legacy forever. Her commitment also to, people with developmentally and intellectual disabilities is another part of her legacy, where we have that type of affordable housing here in town. She fought for those people, took on the fight for those people, and to get funding for housing for them, and she served her community great, and she's going to be very greatly missed. So, everybody have a safe Labor Day weekend, and our municipal offices here in town are closed on Monday, Labor Day. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Starkey?
Yes, thank you, Council President. I just want to give one update on a lawsuit that was filed against the Township. It's come up a couple times in council meetings. It's called Garden State Investment versus Brick Township, and this case was brought by an investment group that had purchased a tax lien at auction. And sometime after the purchase, they sued the town and said that they had not inspected the property where they bought the tax lien, and they found that it was not what they thought it was. It wasn't buildable. So they sought roughly $85,000 in back taxes. But equally important, they were seeking to have the way tax liens were done. They wanted them to change and have the township investigate all properties, do title searches, and then tell everyone about it, which would have been an enormous cost to the township. Fortunately, the township recently prevailed on a summary judgment motion, which means the lawsuit was thrown out by the court. So I'm pleased to report that I think that was an excellent result, and the Grace Marmero law firm represented the township in that, so I thank them for it. I'd like to just, I know it's been mentioned before, but I knew Carol Wolf, and I also wanted to give condolences to her husband. Her husband is Dave Wolf. He is the longtime assemblyman, and he's from Brick, and he's represented Brick Township in this district for many years, and he is a true class act, and I know he is grieving, and my condolences, I know the mayor and council as well, out to him. That's all I have tonight. Thank you.
Madam Clerk?
Yes, thank you. I would also like to extend my condolences to the Underwood and Wolf families. I did have the opportunity to work with Councilman Underwood and Carol Wolf closely, so thank you.
Thank you. Madam Secretary?
I would just like to say welcome back, Councilwoman Fontarelli.
Thanks. Thank you. Councilman Fosman?
Yes, thank you, Council President. Welcome back, Councilwoman. Been gone a while. I'm glad you're feeling better and coming back. That's great news. My deepest condolences to Assemblyman Dave Wolf and his family on the passing of Brick's beloved Carol Wolf. Also, my deepest condolences to the family of former Brick Township Councilman Fred Underwood on his passing. On August 18th, I attended the Solidarity of Faith comedy show and hosted by Temple Beth Orr here in Brick, and the show was hilarious. The comedian up there was really great, and representative and members of several churches in Brick were in attendance, and we also enjoyed eating the food from many ethnic origins prepared by those who hosted the party. Monday morning, I was proud to attend and participate in a ribbon-cutting ceremony at the Disabled Americans Veterans Building on Lanes Mill Road, celebrating the completion of the ADA improvements. My support for our veterans is unwavering, and these men and women have endured so much and are so proud to have served as true patriots. On Wednesday, August 28th, a neighborhood watch meeting will be held at Winding River, and also there's be another one on the 29th at Normandy Beach Clubhouse. On August 22nd, I received an email from Council President requesting an apology regarding a comment I made about information I read on a financial disclosure statement. No doubt the loss of a 40-year position is an emotional and financial hardship. And viewing other disclosures where unemployment was listed, it was listed as New Jersey Department of Labor Unemployment Insurance. When your council president spoke with my wife after the meeting, she explained to you that the way you listed it was not clear, and you said you would amend the form. I have no problem stating that the form was not clear and that nowhere was the word unemployment listed. Remember when I discovered the illegal Traders Cove dredging and dumping? U.S. Council President should have spoken up when the law was broken. Instead, the rest of the council and Mayor Ducey chose to remain silent. Where's the apology to me and the residents of Brick? On another note, before Murphy and his talking heads stick their hands into the business of 55-plus communities and their homeowners associations and condo complexes, they need to clean up their own business. In June of this year, Senate Bill S-2425, New Jersey Common Interest Ownership Act, was approved by the Senate. Its companion bill in the Assembly, A-3851, is awaiting a consideration in the Assembly Housing Committee and Housing and Community Development Committee. A hearing date has not been set yet. If the bill is passed, it would allow special interest groups to control and allow underage people to buy homes in 55 and older communities. Senate Connors voted against the legislation in committee and on the floor of the Senate when S-2425 was presented on the Senate floor for a full chamber vote on June 10th of this year. I stand united with our 55-plus communities and urge my council colleagues and the mayor to do the same. Standing by our communities will send a strong message to Trenton in opposition to their attempt at controlling the bylaws and attempting to act as a de facto governing body. Assemblyman Rumpf and Assemblywoman Gov will vote no if S-2425's companion bill A-3851 is presented on the Assembly floor for a full chamber vote. Regarding Assembly Bill A-38-51, I will be sending a letter to the following legislature. Assemblyman Troy Singleton, who is a primary sponsor. His legislative address is 400 North Church Street, Suite 260, Morristown, New Jersey, 08057. The telephone number is 856-234-2790, and I urge all those concerned to do the same. I am also seeking a formal council resolution opposing A-3851, the Assembly companion bill of S-2425, the New Jersey Common Interest Ownership Act. I will be sending my request to the council president and the mayor, and I will bring it up in the committee meeting I am assigned to, in hopes that they will join me in standing up for our 55-plus communities. In a lighter note, received a letter here, Township received a letter on August 8th. This is a letter from Cheryl and Vincent Capostango. They had a concern, and they came to a council meeting and spoke up here at the council meeting. They sent it to the mayor and the council, and I'm going to read it. It says, I want to convey to you the appreciation of the residents of Venata Woods for the prompt action you gave to the resident, to the request I made for a supplemental drain at the June Township meeting. Councilman Fosman arrived a few days later to make a personal assessment, and 1 week after the recommendation, a work crew arrived and remedied this health and safety hazard. Final paving was completed. For all this hard work, we thank you. And they also thanked the DPW workers who did the work, and they commended on their workmanship. They also knocked on their doors. They let them know what they were doing every day, cleaned up every day. They were so impressed. I just want to get that out there, that, people do follow up on certain things. And thank you all for attending tonight's meeting, and thank you all for watching on TV and YouTube. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Ponchera, welcome back.
Thank you. First, we have 2 upcoming Neighborhood Watch meetings. The first is the 28th at 7 o'clock p.m., and that's for the Winding River community, and the meeting's going to take place at the clubhouse. Again, the 28th, 7 p.m., Winding River at the clubhouse. Second one coming up is the 29th, 7 p.m., and that's Barrier Island at the Normandy Beach Clubhouse. Again, 29th, 7 p.m., Barrier Island, Normandy Beach Clubhouse. Those are the two most recent scheduled Neighborhood Watch meetings. If you're part of those communities, please feel free to come out and join your neighbors in helping to stop crime in your neighborhood. Next, we have a few new programs that our police are going to be launching. Chief Riccio is so out of the box in terms of his ideas, looking for any ways that he can to benefit our community, and is willing to work with other different, whether it be children, church leaders, other different areas of the community in order to make our lives better as residents of Brick. One of the new programs is Because We Care. Because We Care is going to have people who have experienced an overdose in their family. The police are going to come out to their home about a week after, and that's going to be, I think, also in conjunction with the Department of Health, and asking the family, what was your story? What happened here? What resources could you use now? What resources did you use then? Where could we have helped you more? They're going to compile all of that information for 2019 and share it in the hopes of adding to our multifaceted approach to extinguishing this opioid addiction, which not only plagues Brick and not only New Jersey, but our entire country. So that's the Because We Care program. The second is a residential camera initiative. Now, this initiative, we have different residents who are going to be notifying the police that they have either a Ring camera, a Nest camera. They're going to advise the police. The police are going to be able to utilize their security systems in tandem with other citizens and our security cameras as a way to further stop crime. It's going to be completely voluntary. No one's going to have to be a part of it, but let's say that you have break-ins with cars that's going in one area, and they hit 10 neighbors in a row. Perhaps if a couple of those neighbors have security cameras, surveillance cameras, they can identify a person, and perhaps the police getting that visual can have an easier time apprehending that criminal and getting him out of that community. And then the third program, and that program hasn't launched yet. When it launches, we're going to give everyone detailed information about who to contact if they want their cameras to be part of this program. The last one is the residential lockbox program. Brick PD is going to be working with several local businesses who are going to be donating lockboxes. And those lockboxes are going to be installed on the front of a home. Inside the lockbox will be the homeowner's key. The homeowner will give the key to Brick PD. It will be placed in that lockbox, and then, God forbid, in the event of an emergency, if no one answers the door, the police can utilize that as a way to enter into the home and provide emergency services. This service would work so well in tandem with the Project Icebox program. I haven't spoken about it in a long time. Project Icebox, and I bring it up because I had to use it recently. Project Icebox gives you a magnetic holder for all of your personal doctors' names, your medications, names of your medications and the dosages. You put that list on your refrigerator, icebox, and if you're ever in an emergency situation and somebody needs to have with them your information for the hospital, it's right there. I had the occasion to call the ambulance recently. I was home alone, and I was able to say, grab my Project Ice box off my fridge, and that was how I was able to have my list of medications go with me to the hospital. So the new program is going to be called the Residential Lockbox Program. Again, this is from donations. In fact, the Artist Senior Living recently gave our police department $2,500 to purchase lock boxes. So what we're looking for is anyone who's interested in being a part of this program, they can contact Sergeant Jim Kelly at 262-1104. That's 732-262-1104. And if you're a business and you're interested in donating lock boxes, call Sergeant Kelly and he can give you more information. And last, I wanted to thank everyone for their prayers and well wishes for me. On June 24th, I underwent a 17-hour surgery which required 3 doctors. They removed my fibula from my leg. I never knew it wasn't a weight-bearing bone, so I can still walk. As you see me hobble in here, it's my first week without a cane. They were able to use my fibula to replace my jawbone because the effects of radiation for me caused what's known as osteoradionecrosis, and that means the radiation killed my jawbone. It also killed the cancer, so this is a side effect that I'll make that trade-off any day. And it's been a long recovery for me. I'm going through speech 5 times a day, occupational therapy 5 times a week, occupational therapy 5 times a week. I'm really trying to get back up to 100%. When it comes to the fight against cancer, there is no giving up. Whatever you have next in your path, you just have to steamroll through it and get on with life. All of the well wishes that you've sent to me have helped given me the ability each and every day to push myself a little bit more to getting myself back here, doing what I love to do, which is serving the residents of Brick. So thank you all.
Thank you. Councilwoman Dion.
Yes, thank you. It's great to see you back in action. You definitely haven't missed a beat. Thank you for that update. And you definitely were greatly missed up here. I missed you. My sympathies are with the Underwood and the Wolf families. They were great individuals who spent a large part of their lives serving our communities, and they will be greatly missed. I also just want to apologize to President Zapsik that you had to endure and have your private affairs brought public. It isn't right, and it is not in the dignified manner that this council acts. Lastly, I just want to wish good luck to all our students this year, starting as school begins, and watch out for our buses will be back on the road and everything, so drive a little more carefully, take a little more time before you leave in the morning. So, thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Mumolo.
That's me. Councilman Pontarero, welcome back. We missed you. We love you. You're doing a great job. Keep up the good work. I had Mayor, Vice President Crate, and myself had the pleasure of doing with the Knights of Columbus and the Church of Epiphany the Special Olympics. This is one of the best things that I enjoy most on council. They ask us to come and give out medals that they supply to the children that come in, and it's amazing to see. There's so many special needs children, but when you give them these medals, it's like the greatest thing for them. So great job, Knights of Columbus and the church. They do a great job every year, and thank you for the invite. Another thing is some people have called the clerk's office that have American flags that are maybe torn because of these winds we've had, and they don't know how to dispose of them. But we have a special receptacle in the near the council office that you can put your flags in, and they're disposed of properly. My condolences to the Underwood and Wolf families. Very sad, but it's part of life, I guess, unfortunately. Every week, it seems that the dredging gets brought up. The dredging was done. The engineering department here made a mistake with the date on the permit. The permit was rectified. The dredging was completed. There was nothing illegal done. There was nothing out of the ordinary. It was needed to be done. It's going to be needed to be done every year because of just the way the tides and fills up. Otherwise, we'll lose revenue from DDOC, and we can't afford to lose any revenue from that marina because it's a very costly marina that was put into place. So basically, it's done. It's been resolved. There's no penalties that were brought to the town, and it's just beaten by a dead horse, but what are we going to do? Also, the apology, you deserve an apology from Councilman Fosman to the Council President. That's misleading. Whoever wrote your information didn't give you the proper information, and you deserve to apologize to the Council President. And that's all I have to say. Everyone have a great and safe Labor Day. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Halloran.
Thank you, Council President. I want to just express my joy that I see Mariana Ponterero back. You are truly an inspiration to all of us. I just can't get over your strength. It's amazing. I want to, also give my condolences to the Underwood and Wolf families. Both Fred and Carol were tremendous contributors to the town of Brick. They will be missed. I attended the Solidarity of Faith over at Temple Beth Or. It was a really great evening. The rabbi, who also I guess has a second calling as a professional comedian. He told some really great jokes. I wish I was good at remembering them because I would tell them here tonight, but I failed, and I wind up telling them wrong anyway. My wife is always yelling at me. Let's see, what else? Labor Day's coming up. We have a big weekend, 3-day weekend. Please be safe. Hopefully we'll get back to our normal traffic again, and watch out for the children as you're going to work and driving around town. They'll be running around and not thinking that they have to look. So please be careful out there. That's all I have.
Thank you. Vice President Crate.
I have nothing, thank you.
Thank you. I would like to offer my personal condolences to the Underwood and the Wolf families. I had the pleasure of actually working here as an employee when Fred Underwood was a councilman. He was a true gentleman at all times. Those who knew him well knew that he had a fierce wit and an even fiercer sense of humor, and he will be missed. And I don't know what can be said about Carol Wolf that hasn't already been said. In addition to all of the people that we know whose lives she helped them turn around through Dottie's house, there were so very many more who she was so generous with her time and her knowledge. Anybody who reached out for her to ask a question or a problem, how to start a nonprofit, for advice, she was always there for everybody, myself included. And it's a huge loss for the family, a huge loss for the town, and my heart goes out to Assemblyman Wolf, who, alongside of Councilman Underwood, was always the epitome of what an elected official should stand for, a true gentleman at all times. And that's all I have this evening. Our next meeting will be Tuesday, September 10th, here at 7 PM. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
All in favor?
Yay.